mostly and most hardly for those people that don't otherwise have a voice, that do struggle and battle in this country.
What I was wondering was, should the Liberal Party leader, in the view of some, has recently tried to look like a kind of imitation of the National Party, should the Liberal Party go back to its roots in the city and leave the rural areas to the Nat?
Yeah, I don't know. Look, we'll work that. Look, I do think, what I do think is that clearly the Nationals Party have a good infrastructure for running local election campaigns. We're in touch with local communities, we fight for them, and clearly if that's being a successful model, we should look at doing that in more parts of the country. And then that would help, I believe, our Liberal friends then. Obviously they've got a big task to regain ground in capital cities, but look, those are discussions for another day, whether I'm leader or not. We definitely sit down, of course, and talk to the Liberal Party about how we approach the next election.
Should the Nationals take any responsibility for Liberal moderates losing seats? Because it's often Nationals comments, Nationals net zero opposition is used against Liberal moderates in the city.
I would never ask my Liberal colleagues to stop fighting for their people so they can help us. I just never would. I reject this idea that we somehow pull our punches because we're worried about our jobs. I mean, let's be really, really clear what that argument is. That argument is that we shouldn't fight for the jobs of thousands of miners in the nickel industry. There's 10,000 jobs have been lost in the nickel industry under this government. We shouldn't fight for their jobs. They face a carbon tax under this government through the net zero policy. We shouldn't fight for those 10,000 nickel jobs because we're worried there might be 1 or 2 job losses here in this building. There are 226 members of parliament here. And I don't want any, well, I want some of them to lose their seat, but I don't want any of the Liberal and National Party members to lose their seats. But our goal and focus needs to remain squarely on those 10,000 miners in the nickel industry. That's who we're here to fight for. And if my comments sometimes cause people a little bit of heartache, well, I don't mind them criticising me, debating me. Don't ask me to turn down my volume, turn up your volume. That's got to be the approach. We've all got to fight for what we represent here in this country and not make these quite crass political calculations with people's lives.
What would energy policy look like under your leadership? Would be no nuclear and more coal-fired power?
No, I'm all for everything. I just think we should build everything. We should build all energy resources because it's only through getting energy abundance that we'll get cheaper energy. So what will energy policy look like later to me? If I was leader, if I was running the show, we'd have a lot cheaper energy. There's no doubt about that. Because I would prioritise lower energy prices, not lower emissions. That's what our energy policy should be designed to do. The priority should be cheaper energy prices, not meeting some ridiculous, futile, not even effective global environmental goals. We've got so much energy resources in this country, more energy resources per person than anywhere in the world bar Antarctica. We should have the cheapest energy prices in the world, and we don't. We've got some of the most expensive. So build coal, build gas, build nuclear, build renewables, solar and wind as well. I've never been against it. I've funded some of them when I was Resources Minister.